Hello, you're listening to episode 241, and today we are chatting about how your metabolism works. It's a good one, and I'll explain why you should care, because your metabolism rules so many things, okay? You need to listen to this. Your metabolism is controlled by so many different things, and it really dictates the energy that you require and the energy you need to consume from the world around you. Again, I'm reading from my digital program, The Keto Beginning. I did this in episode 238, where I read a pages 52 to 53. And so many of you love this that I thought I would read page 22 of The Keto Beginning. Now, if after reading this, you're like, I want this program, this sounds great, you can go to healthfulpursuit.com/begin to get your copy. It's really inexpensive. I've loaded it up with information, and I've made 3 different iterations of the book over the last 6 years to make sure that it is updated and ready to rock with all the most recent data on keto. Because it's always changing, right? Okay, if you have questions about today's content, you can go to healthfulpursuit.com/contact and ask me. You can catch up on previous podcast episodes and notes from today's show by going to ketodietpodcast.com. Okay, let's do this thing. Hey, I'm Leanne Vogel, and you're listening to the Keto Diet Podcast. I've put together a free 21-page guide on achieving weight loss on your keto diet if nothing is working. Did you know imbalanced hormones are generally at the core of all struggles that women face when it comes to our weight? Grab your free guide at ketoforwomen.com to get the steps you need to overcome the hurdles standing in your way. Thanks so much for listening, and let's get started with the show. How your metabolism works. Welcome to your metabolism. Now, the calorie for calorie mentality we've all been so stuck on isn't that accurate, because there are many other factors that come into play in addition to just the energy derived from the food that you consume. So if you're using a calorie tracker and you are using one of those calculators to determine how many calories you need to eat in a day, maybe your entire macro structure is set around all of these numbers. That macro structure is only based on the calories in, calories out mentality. It looks at your weight with your height, perhaps maybe your body fat is if it's an okay calculator, and then it spits out how much you're going to eat. But what it doesn't know is your food quality. When you eat your food, the thoughts and feelings you're experiencing as you eat, what's going on around you while you're eating, your overall mental well-being, who you're surrounded by, your genes, your current and historic relationship with food, how you feel about what you're eating. Are you quote unquote breaking the rules, doing something quote unquote bad? What point you're at in your monthly hormonal cycle, the balance or unbalanced state and health of your hormones. All of these factors plus more affect your individual metabolism. So getting hung up on the amount of calories you consume is really pointless, because it's actually an extremely small piece of the puzzle. And in many cases, reducing caloric intake will not lead to any long-lasting life-altering changes. Now we get into thinking about your metabolism as an ever-changing and highly attuned structure that can react and adapt instantly to your surroundings and various stimuli to optimize your well-being. But problems can arise when the actions that you take in the name of quote-unquote health send the wrong message to your metabolism. Now, when necessary, your metabolism's feedback mechanisms allow it to adapt in an opposing direction to the messages it receives, adjusting hormones as it goes. So think of your metabolism as a teenager, okay? Whatever you tell it to do, it does the exact opposite. So picture this. Let's say that your body burns 2,000 calories every day. Now you decide that you want to lose weight, so you lower your intake to 1,500 calories per day, either by eating less or exercising more. Now you lose a bit of weight, but then you plateau. And at this point, the only way to lose more weight is by lowering your calories and working out even more. So what's happening here? Your metabolism is adapting to the environment, and it's adjusting as metabolic dials, aka your hormones, to decrease energy, increase cravings, and increase hunger because it's hungry. It's like, what's going on? We need 2,000 calories. Oh my gosh, we're eating 1,500. It was good, but now it's not good. We need food. And when these dials are adjusted as a result of negative hormone processes brought on by a reduction in calories, your daily energy requirement lowers. So using the previous example, your body goes from requiring 2,000 calories per day to making do with only 1,500 calories per day. And every single time we lower, it's cutting out things it doesn't need. So we wonder when we've been on a diet for a really long time, why our hair doesn't grow fast or our nails start to become weak, because your body's thinking, I don't have enough resources for that. Today's episode continues after this short message from one of my sponsors who make the show possible, plus give you some great deals on my favorite things. Superfat is a certified keto and paleo line of macadamia and almond-based convenient on-the-go nut butter pouches with 5 different dairy-free flavors. My favorite flavor is cacao coconut, lightly sweet, perfectly salty, and so chocolatey. With 22 plant-based fats, 3 grams of net carbs, 2 grams of sugars with no added sugar, 5 grams of protein, and 6 grams of fiber. I chow down on Superfat. When we're sailing, I pack them in my trail bag. I just started using them for beach volleyball and long flights for easy fat on the go. Each pouch contains about 50% more than other nut butter pouches, with healthy plant fats found in Superfat support sustained levels of energy, cognition, and mental clarity. Macadamia nuts are found in all flavors and are scientifically proven to help speed up metabolism. And Superfat just launched cookie bites in chocolate chip, peanut butter chocolate chip, and snickerdoodle. Now they're made with dairy, but they sure look tasty and super crunchy. You can use the code Leanne, all in caps, for 15% off when you go to superfat.com. That's Leanne as the code for your 15% off by going to superfat.com. If you're unsure of the link, you can check out today's show notes at ketodietpodcast.com for all the details. So here's some signs that you may not be eating enough and you need to really take care of your metabolism. Perhaps your sleep is miserable. You've been stuck at the same weight plateau. You're tired a lot. You suffer from chronic constipation. You can't get off the blood sugar roller coaster. You're feeling dizzy, sweaty, shaky, or moody. You liken your mood to the Hulk. So you're like fine one minute and totally pissed the next. And the last one is pregnancy seems unreachable. If you're having issues with your fertility, that's a big sign. Okay, so here's some metabolic markers. And this kind of less food is best approach without taking into consideration what our hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, insulin, and glucagon are doing has the potential to throw our hormones even further out of whack, damaging our metabolism and leading to issues with cravings, hunger, energy output, and more. So the problem is this is exactly what we're told to do, right? How many times have you been told, eat less, exercise more, eat less, exercise more, restrict, work out, do cardio, all while managing at a calorie deficit day in and day out. Just as we all look differently on the outside, we all function differently on the inside, and differences controlled by our individual metabolisms are very real. While the eat less, exercise more approach might work for some people, it may not work for you. A fact that, sadly, many of us have never actually been told, and it can be hard to actually believe in this. As somebody who hasn't tracked a macro or cared about that since 2015, I can tell you, I'm about the same weight. In fact, I would say that I've probably lost weight from that time where I was tracking Actually, I know that I did. Okay, so it's all about our external factors and how we see our world and how we interact with our world that determines whether we hit success or not. Now, your body has an amazing feedback system in place to alert you of imbalances before they get out of hand. Many of these little signs and symptoms that you notice from day to day are actually the result of your metabolism attempting to communicate with you. I call these signs that point to whether your metabolism is functioning optimally as the 9 metabolic markers. If you've been experiencing noticeable fluctuations or changes in 3 or more of the following markers on a regular basis, it could be your body's way of telling you that your metabolism needs support either through a ketogenic diet or a more nutrient-rich diet, an increase in overall caloric intake, or a combination of all 3. Now, if you're unsure of which this is, I outline all of this in the Keto Beginning, so you have a step-by-step plan of attacking it. Again, you can grab your copy at healthfulpursuit.com/begin. Okay, so the 9 metabolic markers are hunger, energy, cravings, body weight, water retention, sexual function, mood, digestive function, and menstrual function. So it's really interesting. When I was preparing the Keto Beginning, I just found keto. I was so excited. I had been practicing holistic nutrition at that point for 8 years. I had my private practice. I was meeting with clients. Everything was hunky-dory. But I was experiencing hunger, energy issues, cravings, body weight issues, water retention. I had no sexual function. My mood was all over the place. My digestion was like dead. And I hadn't gotten a period in 7 years. So it's so cool to look back on this. I remember writing these 9 metabolic markers and being like, oh my gosh, I'm teaching people how to do this and my body's a hot mess. To be sitting here now in 2020 being like, got it. Don't experience this anymore. This is awesome. I totally am with my bod. I experienced none of this. It's so cool. It's so cool. So really understanding that you are on the same side as your metabolism and it's trying to communicate with you. Hunger is a big piece of this because hunger is really a natural reaction during your first couple of weeks on the ketogenic diet. And as your body figures out what fuel it's supposed to be using, you can be hungry a lot. And this is a completely natural process. Like, it's very good to feel hunger. Okay. It is not something you need to feel shame or guilt about. And I think a lot of us have that. And don't worry, the hunger you experience during this adaptation period is not an indication that your metabolic hunger marker is off. Just eat, have some fat, and remind your body that it's fat that it needs. Today's episode continues after this short message from one of my sponsors who make the show possible, plus give you some great deals on my favorite things. ButcherBox features 100% grass-fed and finished heritage-bred pork and organic free-range chicken. ButcherBox sends you high-quality, health-promoting meats directly to your door on dry ice and free shipping anywhere in the lower 48. ButcherBox makes committing to quality protein sources less expensive and more available to everyone. Their prices are hard to beat, and it's challenging to find a higher quality product anywhere in the USA. I've been using ButcherBox for years and love the convenience of a package showing up just when I need it, and their ground sausage is an absolute dream. ButcherBox has put together a super special deal for all listeners of the show. Order your first box and get a special gift plus an additional $20 off. Now, this special gift is so epic that I can't even mention it on the episode today. So you'll have to go to butcherbox.com/keto diet to check out the deal plus get your $20 off your very first order. Again, that's butcherbox.com/keto diet to check out the deal plus get $20 off your first order. If you're unsure of the link, simply check out today's show notes for all the details. The last bit to today's episode, I want to talk a little bit more about calorie restriction because it really ties into your metabolism. So we've covered the 9 metabolic markers, and you want to remember that if you test positive for 3 or more, you've really got to look at your metabolism. This is so important. We've talked about signs you may not be eating enough, how your metabolism works, and we're going to finish it off with caloric restriction. Okay, so on the flip side of everything that I've just said, there are plenty of studies that link calorie restriction to overall health and wellness in the context of a ketogenic diet. Now, compared to a body burning glucose as its fuel, it is easier for a body in a state of nutritional ketosis to perform at a calorie deficit because when we're keto adapted, our bodies are primed to burn our fat stores as energy whenever our dietary intake is reduced. Now, the trick here is to not operate at a calorie deficit to the point of damaging your metabolism. The moment you begin experiencing any of the changes with the 9 metabolic markers that we covered earlier in today's episode, consider it a possible sign that something is out of whack and make an adjustment to address. But instead of looking at calorie restriction as good or bad, I try to see it as a tool that I can use at my discretion. Based on the information I've shared so far, we know that, number one, an epic decrease in calories combined with poor food quality, imbalanced hormones, intense training schedules, and copious amounts of stress isn't good for you. Number two, a slight decrease in calories combined with high quality foods, a healthy relationship to movement, and nights of consistently restful sleep boosts our quality of life and makes us feel good. And regardless whether you are happy with the weight you're at, looking to lose, or trying to gain, once you're keto adapted, you will likely notice dramatic fluctuations in your overall food intake as time goes on. Now, some days I eat a lot. Like today is one of those days. Like, guys, I've had probably 6 meals. I'm just so hungry. I'm also ovulating today. Now, if I take the time to add up all my weekly calories, like from today, where I've probably, I don't even know, like 4,000 calories minimum. But then if I add up today's and tomorrow's all the way up to 7 days and divide it by 7, I can just about guarantee you that I'm running on a deficit, because I can just about bet that tomorrow I'm not going to be hungry and I'm barely going to eat anything. I might even fast all day because I ate so much today. So you see, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing. Now, the keto beginning is a lifestyle change. It's less about forcing yourself to achieve your dream weight and more about allowing your body to slide naturally into its happy place. The less we force this or any eating style on our bodies, the better. My success with this style of eating was ultimately achieved by allowing my body to figure out what it needed and where it wanted to be. So again, I just read from my digital program, The Keto Beginning. You can grab your copy by going to healthfulpursuit.com/begin. Next up on the podcast, Sunday, April 5th, episode 242, we have Soma Mandal coming on the show to chat about menopause and the keto diet. And then Sunday, April 12th, episode 243, we have Allison Schaff, who's talking about meal prep to make keto easy. Okay, we'll see you then. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Keto Diet Podcast. Join us again in a couple of days to discover more Keto for Women secrets for your fat-fueled life. The Keto Diet Podcast, including show notes and links, provides information in respect to healthy living, nutrition, and diet, and is intended for informational purposes only. The information provided is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, nor should it be construed as such. We cannot guarantee that the information provided on the Keto Diet Podcast reflects the most up-to-date medical research. Information is provided without any representations or warranties of any kind. Please consult a qualified physician for medical advice and always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding your health and nutrition program.